You're going to love this conversation with Angela Duncan. Oh man, she really is an expert in finances, right? So she's come from a really struggling background, mom on Section 8, on welfare and all of that. And she actually went into the financial industry and now helps others to really transcend that poverty line and to learn to invest and to learn how to use money and how to win when it comes to this money, right? Because a lot of us are struggling and a lot of us have been there and we know how hard it is to get yourself out. And so when you have someone who is willing to pour into you and give you great nuggets, you have to listen up. So you're going to love this episode. Here we go. What's up, y'all? This is Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. I am so excited you're hanging out with me today. I got a great guest for you. As you guys know, I go around this amazing planet, finding the best humans I can find to come on here to grow, challenge, and transform your thinking. So, all right, buckle up, y'all. Buckle up. Here we go. I got Angela Duncan here, okay? She is a true survivor, okay? And she has defied all the odds, right? From childhood mark of abuse and poverty, raised in Section 8, navigating through the welfare system. I mean, amazing stuff going on. And I'm so glad that she's hanging out with us today. So over 25 years of personal finance is now under her belt. I just love everything about what she is doing. And now she has forged this career path in banking, financial advising. She's owned the top 10 RE Max office, and oh my god, there's too much going on here, Angela. All right, she has over 2 billion in sales, and she has successfully established and sold an insurance agency. Now she is showcasing her power, right? I want you guys to understand and know that where you have come from is not where you need to be, okay, or where you are going. And I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, Angela, who are really just stuck, right? And I think they're stuck because they think that their past story is their story,
Mm.
right? And even though we don't want to really say that, a lot of times we have these barriers, I call them glass ceilings, right? That we hit every time. And a lot of that goes with what is going on inside of us. Now, Angela, you have overcome a lot of those things. So we're definitely going to get into how you've overcome that and what you're doing today to impact the world. So, Angela, who are you, girl? Who are you? Tell us a little more about who you are.
Yeah, sometimes when people do introductions, you're like, "Who are you talking about?" "Oh, that's
Right.
me." So it is amazing, and I've been very blessed in my life, but I didn't start that way, right? I grew up in Section 8 housing. My mom was on welfare. I shared a room with my little
Mhm.
brother, and when I was old enough to sign my lease, I thought there's gotta be a better way, and I moved out, and I knew that I needed to learn about money, right?
Mm.
Because money is this tool, and I didn't have it, so how do I get it? And that really started my journey from a very early age. But I've had a lot of learning lessons along the way, very expensive learning lessons.
You
But,
bet.
a big part of like what you said is it doesn't matter where you started. It doesn't matter what you were taught. It doesn't matter where you're at today because money does not care. It doesn't care about your education. It doesn't care if you're a woman or a man. It just is a tool. And we really have to learn to
Yeah.
utilize it as a tool.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I don't think I know that most of us just don't learn finances in school, to be quite frank, right? So then it doesn't even become a tool in our arsenal, in our tool belt. We just don't know. So a lot of our money stories are emotional stories or
Mhm.
attachment stories or lack of stories, right? My mother also welfare all my life, Section 8, the whole thing. And same with me. I can't do this this can't be all my life. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, I can't do this. So, what was it that triggered you though to say, let me get into finances? Like, what was that for you? Did you have a mentor or somebody that was into that and kind of like put it in your ear? Like, how did you discover that?
I know that God had a plan for me. When I was in high
Mm,
school, I saw a chart and it was the time value of money. And it showed you if you started investing for your retirement at 18 versus 30, the number difference. And I was just amazed. I didn't understand it at the time, but I thought, I want to learn more about what this means because
Mm,
they have some type of secret, right? And so when I got into college, I was fortunate enough to be working for Bank of America and I started talking to other women. You know, they come in the room, they're so confident, they've got cars, they're talking about vacations. And I thought, well, they obviously know something I don't know. So let me become a student and let me just ask them questions. And what I find is when
so
people are
good.
successful in their career, they do want to help you.
Yeah.
Now, don't be a time vampire, but I did ask questions and I was like, teach me, how do I create a better lifestyle for myself so that I can turn it and teach other people too. So I've always had mentors in my life. I
So
will
good.
always be a student. And that's a big part of, who I am is that you never stop learning because then I can turn around and teach other people what I'm learning. But you can't do that if you're not a student first.
That's so good, right? And I love that you said that because one of the things that my mind shifted on also as I became an entrepreneur is how little there is competition, but more collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Realize that, being, when I was like, coming up and I had my six figures and stuff, that I realized there wasn't competition. It wasn't about that. It was about lifting each other up. And I'm like, what a different mindset than the poverty mindset, right? Where you are
Mm-hmm.
always in competition, or you think everybody's out to get you. Everybody wants what you have and they're going to steal it. And that's a real thing. I mean, you really feel that way, and it isn't until you shift that and you realize that the more value you bring to the world, the more you receive, right? It's a lot about what God says, right? The more you give, the more you shall receive, like that kind of thing. And we have to like stop allowing those limiting beliefs and those mindsets to keep
Mm-hmm.
stopping us from doing what it is that we should have in our lives, but also knowledge, right, Angela? Like knowledge is key. You can't just sit here and just wish for money to come your way. I wish, because I've been wishing for a lot of money come my way a long time. It doesn't happen. You have to work for it, right? So what started you on the entrepreneurial road though? Because you had your own insurance company and all that. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
Well, it was kind of by mistake, honestly. So I was working at the bank at the time and I met a boy and he was in real estate and he was getting so busy, ended up being my husband for many years, but he was getting so busy that he needed an assistant. And I had just gone through like 3 mergers with the bank. I was tired. I was bringing home my laptop. I was working crazy hours and not making extra money in doing
Right.
so. And so he's like, well, leave it and come join me. And yes, I decided to join him, not really thinking about being an entrepreneur. For me, it was just
Mm,
another job, right? But then I learned that you create your own hours. You have, an unlimited ceiling because you can grow. Whereas my W 2 job at the bank really didn't have those opportunities. And we could travel, we could do real estate in other areas. It wasn't tied to a desk. I didn't have a laptop 7 days a week unless
mm,
I wanted to. So I fell upon it really by mistake. But again, I just go back. This was God's plan, and I just keep carrying it
yeah.
out. And you mentioned something earlier too, which I love, is I don't believe in the law of attraction, right? I don't think
Right.
about like I wish. It is the
Right.
law of action. You have to take action with the knowledge. It's not enough to be a student. You have to take action. So me leaving that very safe W 2 for zero income to start was extremely scary. So yeah, if anyone's listening and they're thinking about leaving a job, understand it is going to be scary for you and that's a very normal feeling for you to have.
Yeah, it is. And one of the things when I work with the women that I work with, right, because they're all in like corporate leadership roles. And I'm always saying to them, listen, I know we're building out your coaching and consulting business right now. Don't leave your job. It is actually a really great, basically like a personal loan that you'll never have to pay back. Right.
Mhm.
So you get your paycheck, that's your loan. You'll never have to pay back. You can use that to utilize into your business. I think what scares a lot of entrepreneurs is that they think that if they start something, they have to leave their job like ASAP, and that's not the truth. That's not the truth. You can do both for a little while and then shift over, right?
Mhm.
I want to talk about that scary because you did say it was scary in the beginning. So I want to talk about that a little bit, right? Because I have a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs and stuff that listen to the show or people who are just starting this journey. And I want to know how you held on to the faith of moving forward in your business when you were afraid. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So one of my early programs that I learned was the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University. And for me, what I got from that program is to look at our expenses and to look at our debt. What is it that doesn't serve us? What is it that we can get rid of so that when we make this transition to fully commissioned jobs or, fully commissioned businesses without that guaranteed income, that we have full control over what we're spending money on, and we're making sure that we're not just spending it on things that we don't need. So we invested a lot of our income back in the business very early on. But I learned from that if you don't open your credit card statement, if you don't look at your bank account, then you really don't know what you're spending money on. And how can you cut out expenses if you don't have that knowledge first, right? So it's the knowledge first, then the action. And it was really important for us to understand what that financial picture looked like before we both went fully commission.
Right. And it's also scary too, because when you're fully commissioned, you think, oh no, I need medical, I need this, I need that. I have so many different barriers that come up, right? And it's true, yes. And this is what I always tell people too, like entrepreneurship is not for punks. Let me tell you, it is hard work, right? And I think that people want to like glorify it now. I see too much glorifying it on, all of these ads that you see on social media, right? Everything is just, oh, I will make you $1 million in 2 days, like that kind of stuff. It's like absolutely ridiculous. The truth is that you are going to have to work. Systems are important though, right? Putting systems together. If you have systems, you can make your business very successful. If you're just winging it, it is going to be a lot of work. So tell me a little bit about because I know that was the real estate, but then I read on your bio that you had an insurance company as well, right? And you sold that.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. That must have been exciting for you to build something and then sell it.
Yeah. So, I mean, having real estate brokerage, right? We had a top Remax office, and we obviously were doing something that was working. You're right. We had great systems in place. We had great service in place. We took care of our clients. But what we were finding is some of the partners that we were with didn't have the same level. They were more of a solopreneur than building out a true business. And so we ventured out to add in a title company. We were doing flip properties. My ex was doing some coaching. But insurance is just another piece of that real estate transaction. So we thought, how can we still deliver the most amazing service to our clients to make them raving fans? Well, we needed to add in the insurance piece. So I went and got my license, learned the insurance piece first, got our own insurance done, and then we started helping clients. And it was just a very easy, addition to our existing business. The existing business was still the big money maker, but now we just had another line, right? Another pillar of business to our existing business where we can deliver that top-notch service, help the clients, and then still create a little bit of extra income for the business that we could
So good.
put back in and continue to grow.
So good, right? And it's about like continuing education. I think that's what people want, should hear. Like you're not going to know it all when you first come out the gate, and you're always going to have to expand your knowledge and grow in your business. I think that one of the things that I've been seeing people hit up against is that they think they need to have it all together. Like they have to have everything done before they can launch or before they even think they're successful. But to your point, Angela, you didn't have insurance at first, but then you decided, you know what, let me get educated on this and then I can actually do that. That is brilliant. Brilliant, right? So let's transition now into what you're doing today, right? Because that's what you were doing. But I want to talk about what you are doing today because you look like you're really trying to impact the world and trying to change people's, narrative on what money could be for them. So let's talk a little bit about what it is you're doing today.
Yeah. So you take all of those years in knowledge, right, that you've been being a student for many, many decades. And how do I help other people? How do we really, truly impact other people? Well, there's a lot of information out there, but we want to make it very straightforward, very easy for you to comprehend on platforms that you're going to be on every day. So I wrote a book last year. Everyone knows Amazon. So the book is available for people to just dive in and get some key information about their finances, but also just to be on podcasts like this amazing podcast and delivering money tips and action items that you can do immediately in your life not complicated, right? I don't need you to go get a dictionary to learn about money, but I do need you to start. I do need you to take action and control your
Yeah.
own finances, because that's the only way that you're going to hit your financial goals, is by becoming a student and taking action.
Right. And now you already told us that a little bit in the beginning about some of the action steps you took in the beginning, right? Which was actually getting aware of where you are right now. Like, look at your, I know it's hard, guys. I know some of y'all like, I don't want to look at that, but you're going to have to look at your bank accounts and see where you are right now. And the truth is, it don't even give it a good or bad um term to it. It just is. It just
Mhm.
is, right? So if you're negative $60, it just is. You're negative $60. Okay, how do we work on that? Right? If you have a few $1,000 and you're just thinking about how do I invest it or work this, then look at it that way as well, right, Angela? Because I think we can get very discouraged, right? If we don't
Mhm.
think where we are where we should be. And especially financially, right now, times are a little tough. The economy is a little tough on people and people are feeling it, right? But it doesn't mean that you have to struggle. So I want you to, first of all, you didn't give me the title of your book. So I want you to give me that. And then I want you to give somebody, besides the look at where you are, right? What's something, give us some money tips on some people who are listening right now on how they can get maybe out of the cloud of feeling maybe a little bit anxious about the money or, just feeling a little bit disconnected. Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So, first, the book is called Empower Your Money, because I
I
wrote
love
it for
that.
you. It's not about me. It's not about what I've learned. I want to give you the information. So, I'm empowering you with real tips in the book. So, if you need just a place to get started, it is a great place to get started. And yes, we talked about looking at your expenses and cutting out things that you don't need, right? So, a great app I have no affiliation with is Rocket Money. Yes. So, when you look at that app and cancel those subscriptions, and you've got money back in your pocket now. Figure out what you want to do. Is it to get out of credit card debt? Write a plan, put it in front of you, and tell someone about it. Because we all
Mm,
know that if you have a plan and you tell someone about it, they're going to hold you accountable, and you're going to work on that 10 times harder than you would have by yourself. So finding just a partner, someone that you can, set those goals with and say, hey, just hold me accountable. When I'm feeling low, just pick me up a little bit. You'd be
yeah.
surprised at how many people want to be on this journey with you. They're going to cheer you on, and they might end up having their own journey. So now you're impacting someone else with what you're learning.
Right. So, the subscription thing is a true thing because we end up really subscribing for so many different things because everything right now is subscription, like everything right now is subscription,
Mhm.
right? So it's a little bit hard to kind of get away from it if you need something. What happens is we sign up for all these free for 30-day things and then we forget about it. And then there you go. I had subscriptions as well that I was like, what? I'm still paying for that? And I'm like, I had to turn that off. It was like hundreds of dollars later, right? So it's ridiculous. All right, so that's a good one. So get onto, I think you said Rocket.
Rocket
Mon-
Money is the app.
Rocket Money's the app. Try to find out what you're subscribed for that you shouldn't be subscribed for, where you're wasting money. I call it the little foxes that come and steal, right? The little foxes that come and try to steal from your blessings. Okay, so um, so now they have to look at what they're actually spending, right? Look at this and be real with yourself, and again, don't add an emotion to it. It just is. And what it is, it is. It's fine. Nobody's judging you. It just is. And then try to maybe find an app like Angela just said to try to see if you have subscriptions out there that you're paying for that are not serving you. You're not even using them, right? So I know you right now as an entrepreneur, you're helping people, right, to kind of get on their money game. So talk to me a little bit about that journey. So somebody's listening right now is like, man, all right, Angela knows what she's talking about. I actually like what she's saying. I just don't know what this means. Let's talk to us about your program and what is it that people are going to look forward to.
Yeah. So, I mean, my biggest thing is the podcast. I love for people to tune in and listen to the podcast. Same thing as we're going over money tips and action items there. And then if you are ready for actual investing, then I am a financial strategist and I can help you figure that out. So
Mhm.
that's, a value add for my clients, them not only to get out of debt, cut out expenses, how do we create some more income, and where should your money be going when you're ready to invest? I think that people get confused and stuck there. And because there's so much information, they just don't move. So let's go
Yeah.
through those
Yeah.
and figure out what's going to be best for you to do right now so that you can hit your financial goals.
Yeah, that's such a true statement, right? We have so much information that we don't move. It's kind of shocking, right? That it's so much is in front of us and yet we feel stuck. And it's because it's too much for our brain to even comprehend to begin with. And so a
Mhm.
lot of discouragement has taken place, a lot of, anxiety and worry and depression and all this stuff is coming in because we keep going after the shiny penny, Angela. That's the thing,
Mhm.
right? That looks good, that looks good, that looks good, that looks good. And before you know it, you don't even know who you are or what you're bringing out anymore. It really is a thing, and it's happening a lot. And I speak to a lot of women, so I hear it a lot. And it's discouraging to see how much, and it's also encouraging to see people like you, and people like me who are really trying to help people kind of like straight line their thinking and get good results, right? So when they work with you, because you're also adding that strategy of like investing in stuff in their life as well. Is it a long program? Is it short? Is it a one off? Like how does that work?
It depends on the client and depends on
Okay.
their needs, to be honest. So I don't make it any specific. It's very tailored to the individual client. So that's
Okay.
important for them to understand, because I think sometimes when you have a mentor, you think that they're going to have that same mentor or coach forever, which is not always the case. You might outgrow them or you might pivot and go into a different direction. And, give yourself some grace. If you've made some mistakes, if you started a business and it failed, or if you invested and you failed, that's happened to me. I know what it feels like. I lost six figures on an investment a few years ago, which was huge for me,
Yeah, it's
but
huge.
I didn't stop, right? Don't let that fear or that actual learning lesson stop you from moving forward. It really comes down to our mindset,
Hmm.
because if you
Hmm.
believe it's going to happen again, you'll never actually take the steps to keep going. And that's not what we want for you either.
What are the biggest lessons that you've learned doing this entrepreneurial uh, season of your life, right? Because, you did come from, more like poverty, right? Section 8 and welfare and all that. They keep you very, very much on the poverty level
Mm.
when you are in those systems. So, and you've come a long way. So, what have been some of the big lessons that you've learned that you love to pour into others?
Invest in what you know, or at least invest in something that the partner you're investing with knows what they're doing too. I talked
Mm,
about that six-figure loss. I was in an
mhm.
investment with a bunch of people who just didn't really know what they didn't know. So when we got into this investment, I didn't have enough education. I didn't ask enough questions. I went into it thinking that these were good people, and people can be good people but
Yeah.
not have the right knowledge, which is going
Mhm,
to
mhm.
result in a failure of that investment. So partnering with someone who has a great track record, who is not afraid to show you their track record. My clients, I will open my books and show them what I do. And I'll also let them know what mistakes I've made so that they can understand that it's going to
So good.
happen. Right.
Mhm. Right. That's so good, right? Because that's called transparency, which we
Mhm.
don't see a lot of nowadays. So that's a good thing. And so you didn't give me the name of your podcast either. What's that?
Oh, it's called Empower Her Money.
Oh, okay. Good. You have a whole theme going on. I love this. So that's really good, Angela. I really like that. And so I really don't want to like wrap up yet until we can give whoever's listening right now like one takeaway, right? Like give them something right now. I know we give them a couple tips, but I want something like a golden nugget for them to really not feel so insecure or afraid of doing what needs to be done. So give us
Yeah.
something that you would definitely pour into someone for that.
Right. So when you're ready to invest, it's important for you to understand what kind of investor you are. So it's a step that I take with my clients. Are you conservative? Do you have risk high tolerance, risk low tolerance? And
Mm,
then pick one lane. For me, I've invested in real estate for many years in multiple lanes, but I would start with one, learn about that investment, then take the action or find the right partner. It's not that I want to invest, people say diversify, right? Well, what does that even mean? For most people, it could be one or two investments because that's what they know and understand. I'm very heavy in real estate. That's my diversification. So
Mm-hmm.
finding that one lane that you want to become a student of first and taking baby steps is okay. You don't have to go all in. And if you're conservative, then find an investment that's conservative for you. And if it's okay, Neena, I have a quiz I would love to give to your
Yeah,
audience so that they can figure out what kind of investor are you.
that's really great. Yeah, yeah. Give it to us. What is it?
Yeah. So follow me on Instagram, Empower Her Money. Send me a message with the word quiz, and you'll get a link so that you can figure out what kind of investor you are. And then if you have more questions, just reach out to me. I personally do check my Instagram and I answer lots of questions. I'll do videos when people have questions. So don't
Mm,
be afraid to ask for help because I was there. I still ask for help today, and people are willing to help you. You just have to ask for that help.
yeah, yeah. So good. So good. Angela, thank you so much for coming on and like dropping all these little nuggets of gold around here. Gold is a good investment, but thank you for dropping.
Consult
Thank
with
you
your
so much.
financial consultant.
I am not that, guys. I am not that. Oh, look, I realized just now that my name was not even on here. Do you see that?
Oh my goodness.
I gotta change that. Oh, that is hilarious. All right. Well, Angela, thank you so much, seriously, for hanging out with us and dropping all of the knowledge and, pouring into the community the way you have, because I wish that this was something that we would learn more in school. And
Mhm.
maybe we can actually take some of the people that maybe we've known in our lives or people out there right now who are still in the system, who are still struggling with the
Mm.
system, right? Because they don't have the knowledge. And I would say, yeah, of course, there's YouTube University. Yeah, go for it. The problem is you don't know who to trust. And,
Right.
that's really become an issue now because there's so many people now, that are actually out here, saying things, or should I say, lying to people, and they're being exposed left and right. But the truth is, not everyone, and people are losing their shirts, like
Mm.
investment wise and everything. So that's why I wanted to have you on here. I like your energy and I like what you put out in the world. And I wanted to make sure that my audience is taken care of and that I, have someone on here that they can know, like, and trust. So, Angela, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. All right, guys. Isn't she amazing? I told you, good human on the planet. I want you to make sure you follow Angela. I'm going to link all of her information below. Also, the instructions that she just gave us for you to get the quiz that you should check out to see if you're, what kind of investor you are. I say, even when you take the quiz, invest anyway. If you're conservative, then invest conservatively, but invest. You should have other different things coming your way and not just focusing on the maybe the little bit of money you have or the lot of bit of money you have or the job you have or not. We have so many things going on in our lives and we don't always think about the long term. And you should think about having multiple streams of income coming in so that you are not struggling to stay where maybe you are right now, because I know that I've been there. I've definitely been there. I've been homeless. I've definitely struggled. I know what it feels like. It does not feel good. And that's why I said I don't want you to look at your bank account and put a emotion to the money. Just look at it and say, okay, this is where I'm at. But Angela says I can go here. So let me try to see how I can work this out. All right, guys. Thank you guys for being with us. I love you so much. This is Neena Perez, Straight Talk, no sugar added. Until next time.